Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to go over the tier list update for the release of Aria and the buffs to Abgrund and Idea. The ignition weapon buffs did not really have any impact on tier list whatsoever, except for Alice. I increased Alice's rank, but more on that when we talk about the old units and the changes that I made. For now, let's focus on Aria. I gave her irregular arrow down below 350 deficit because she's basically a one-man army. She can do 1v5 no problem, and most of the enemies at that point are easy to handle for her. So really good value, really good unit, nothing else to say. For about 350 deficit, I decreased the rank to high ranker arrow up, like every other attack or defense scaling DPS that we have in the game, except for Cha. Cha is still irregular because his value with the energy decrease is so insane. It still feels like irregular to me. So is that's the only reason why it's still there. But if it was only for the attack scaling part, it would be down to high ranker Arab as well. So that's the reason why she's down. But I think she's way more future proof than some of the other units that were released. Like, for example, Rachel. I think once a better DPS than Rachel is released, then Rachel will be basically forgotten. But Aria can always be used. Her survivability, thanks to her Revolution 4, is massive. Her damage, thanks to her Revolution 5, is great. But even if we remove the damage out of the picture, let's say her damage is power crap, because we all know how this game goes. Sooner or later, they will release better DPSs. That's normal. So, okay, it will happen. She's still insanely valuable because she can be a stall tank. She can still be a sub DPS. Her damage is still nuts. Even in the future, she will still do something. And she also provides some very interesting utility. She has an energy decrease, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's tied to an active skill, but she can kind of spam them every now and then. It's not as reliable as Cha or Iwo, for example, but still it's okay, it's there. You will feel it. And then he has an active skill cooldown increase. That is really important because at the moment only two units have that. One is Aria, the other one is Princess of Zahard. I think Princess of Zahard does a better job at that, but for Princess you need to keep her alive. Aria doesn't have that issue. You can slot her in any team, even in the future. If you have a free slot, you add Aria. She will be a stall tank and provide utility. In the worst case scenario, in case her damage is non-existent, it doesn't matter. She still provides value. So I think she's rather future-proof. She's a pretty solid unit. So that's it for Aria. Now we can move on to the changes, and this will be interesting because I made quite a lot of them. The first one, I think you might have noticed already, is Anniversary Iwa. I moved her down from irregular arrow down to high rank arrow up for both below 350 and above 350. Also, the other support units I'm going to mention in a second, they apply to both below 350 and above 350 deficit because, I mean, supports don't really care about deficit that much. As long as they can stay alive, the value they provide is almost the same. So for Hiwa, I decrease a rank because if we consider a kit, she has two things. An energy decrease she can kind of spam, even though she relies on an ally that will give her a lot of energy. If she does not have that, then she's a lot worse. And the second thing she provides is the, let's say, invincibility on a condition. So when an ally is about to die, she will waste one of the stacks she has, up to 3. So she can have up to 3 stacks at the same time. She refills one every time she uses a special move. Also why she needs a lot of energy. So it's kind of a limited survivability. If the enemy will one-shot your whole team with one hit, 2 units will die. There is no way she can protect all of them at all times. And let's say you waste 3 stacks to save 3 allies to die, then the next time they hit you, you will likely not have the 3 stacks on the pass because you need to cast 3 times the special move, and that's most of the times just a loss, unfortunately. Now, with the right teams, that's not going to happen because you either deploy like 3 unit teams or the additional ones will have a mechanic to survive without relying on their own HP. So their HP bar will stay full and she won't waste any stacks on them, like for example, Yugo, to mention one. So there are still ways to make use of her, obviously, otherwise she would be way down below. She's an insane unit still, but I think all things considered, she doesn't provide enough to be ranked irregular anymore. Like, I feel like Eura release kind of also had an impact on this because we have more and more units that have AoE effects, like immortality for the whole team, invincibility for the whole team, conceal for the whole team. But Hiwa doesn't have that, and she's mostly again there for the energy decrease, which is a main selling point. But we got Cha that kind of does a better job if he has a very tight grouping like an Irang or something. So both of these things, like the AoE focus of the recent supports and the release of Cha with the spammable energy decrease, kind of brought me to decrease the value of Hiwa a little bit. Or they should have done that earlier than now, but yeah, that's what I think. And let me know in the comments how you feel about this. Now, the next unit I also decreased the rank of is Albelda. She was I ranker, now I gave her I ranker or down, mostly because, again, she's single target, and on her own, she is not often enough to guarantee survivability of the linked unit. She is most of the times enough, depending on the linked ally, but other times you will need other teammates for that team to function. She's not really providing enough value from my point of view. The active skill cooldown decrease is great, but we're getting more and more units with that effect. Again, SSR plus Eura. So it might become less and less valuable in the future. I think she does not deserve to be above Shia and Alfin anymore. That's why I decreased the ranking. And talking about Shia and Alfin, I increased their ranking from high ranker or down to high ranker. For Shia, the explanation is pretty simple. I think I should have done that when Runda was released because Runda was really massive for Shia, and the invincibility she provides with a special move is a bit short, but still valuable. Her own self-survivability is great. The damage buff she provides to attack scaling DPS units is also very substantial, and that's also one of the reasons why I increased the ranking. We're getting more and more attack scaling DPS units that are actually worth using, so our value is again increasing because of that. For Alpine, it's a bit different. I think she deserved a ranker to begin with, like without any arrows or anything, because she has an AoE conceal, which is really solid for survivability, even though not enough at times. But the evasion decrease is really good. The accuracy decrease, depending on your archive and your stats, is also really valuable. The max HP damage is not enough to really matter too much, but it's still pretty solid. So all of that together, I think definitely like she deserved an high rank than high ranker hour down, and I decided to upgrade it now. That's mostly it. Now, the other unit I changed is Alice. I gave her from ranker to ranker arrow up for the below 350, and from ranker arrow up to high ranker arrow down for the above 350. That change is only because of Abgrund. Abgrund is so broken on Alice at the moment, it's really insane. Makes her a lot more consistent. Provides her with a lot of survivability thanks to the 3-hit barrier, but most importantly, gives her a lot of energy. 200 energy per second she's concealed is massive because she's concealed a lot of time, and a lot of her damage is tied to the special move, so this is a really, really good buff. And yeah, nothing else to mention. Like, it's really insane. Also, crit rate is important for Alice. She definitely wants to be at 100% crit rate at all times, so that's a really, really good set. And then the other changes are a bit less relevant, but I'm still going to cover them. So we have Ice Spear Kunagero. I moved him down from Ranker to S arrow up. The reason why is that his utility is great, but the AoE is rather small, so you have to play him with grouping. His survivability sucks, so you have to play him with like supports that can keep him alive, and those two are already quite harsh requirements, and it doesn't really see a lot of play in a lot of teams that we're using nowadays. For that reason, it's not like he's irrelevant. He's great. He has a great kit. It just doesn't fit in a lot of teams currently. So I decided to bring him down to SR up. Still insane, just not as used anymore. And yeah, I gave him the same rank for below 350 and above 350 because I mean, it will need survivability either way, so that's okay. Then another change I made is to SSR BAM, so Black March BAM. I decreased this rank from S arrow up to S arrow down. The main reason here is that Runda basically removed the necessity of having BAM. BAM provides 200 energy every 5 seconds, plus energy every time you use a special move, whatever. But that's about it. Runda provides way more energy now. So his use declined a lot after Runda buff, and he's still great, just not as necessary anymore. So that's why I decided to decrease his ranking a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Then I also decreased the ranking for Anna from S arrow up to S arrow down. The reason here is just that she provides only grouping. Now we have other units like Beta, Alphine that can do basically the same job, if not better at times. So for that reason, I felt like S arrow up was a bit too much for Anna. Still great, still a great combo with Reflejo and everything, but I think you don't really need her too much now, and you can always use her at zero dupes, no problem, whatever. But like, I didn't feel right leaving her in S arrow up, if that makes sense. Then we have Icarus, that I actually increased the ranking from A plus arrow up to S, and she had the same also for the above 350, so exact same ranking for both. And I only did that because of SSR Plus Rachel, because she is such a good support for one of the best DPS units we have in the game at the moment that she definitely deserved this increase. And if the unit that are going to release next week, so SSR Plus Kunagero, is going to be relying on his active skills, then Icarus value will also increase at that point. So S would be justified. I think it's perfectly fine. She doesn't really do a shit ton of stuff, but her like usefulness for Rachel, and at times I would say also for Heljo, might be enough of a reason to justify this rank increase, I would say. The other unit I changed is regular Hayuri. So I moved her down from S, I think she had like S without any arrows. I moved her down to A+. The reason for that is even though she can use Myeongol to provide the HP recovery block and energy recovery block, that's still not valuable enough. Her damage is dog shit. Her survivability is whatever. You will only use her in trials because, I mean, you don't have a lot of other options. So I don't know, kind of bad. So I didn't feel right leaving her with these kind of units we have here in S. I should probably also decrease the ranking of White, but we'll see. We'll think about that a bit later. And let me check if I have any other units I changed. I think I missed only one. Yes, I did, which is Charila. She was high ranker arrow up in the above 350 deficit. I moved her down to high ranker arrow down. That is not to say she isn't strong. She's obviously insane. It's just that she is debuff based, so if enemies can clear the debuff, she will have an harder time. She's AoE, but she needs a lot of grouping. Her own survivability is kind of garbage. She has a sort of charge up to the special move. Lots of different weird stuff that doesn't really make her that comfortable to play. So I figured I'd decrease her rank a little bit. Still, her damage is so high, she will probably not go below high ranker, but her usability is a bit of a pain in the ass, so I decided to at least do this kind of decrease. And that would be all, guys, for this tier list. Let me know in the comments if you agree with it, if you would make any additional changes. I will evaluate everything and then make the adjustments for the next updates. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next videos. Bye.